Hi everyone, I hope you're having a good day. So today we are going to be looking at topic 3 part 1 lecture 1. I think for topic 3 part 1 we're going to be doing it in 2 mini lectures. So don't forget our subject learning outcomes, remember those, and then we've got our learning objectives, which are what you're going to be assessed on. Don't forget. Alright, topic 3 part 1 lecture 1. Here we go. So what we want to look at or have a bit of a think about now is thinking about the fact that cells actually come in different shapes and sizes. So let's have a look at some examples, hey? Here we go, look, a cell can even be flat like a pancake. Alright, they can be this shape, which is like a disc, okay, and they can also be shaped like a long worm. So different cells have different shapes and they do different things in the body. Now, why are we getting you to think about this now? Well, we just want you to understand that cells have different shapes because they have different jobs to do. That's pretty much it. And we're going to see all the different shaped cells and all the different jobs that they do as we study 165 and 175. Okay, so let's have a look and see what a generalized cell looks like. Okay, a generalized one. As you can see, there's lots and lots of stuff going on here. It's all good. Let's start from the beginning. A cell has a plasma membrane. Now we did have a look at this before. Remember, the plasma membrane is made up of phospholipids and cholesterol. Do you remember that? Yeah. The plasma membrane is like the outer surface of the cell. Yeah? And inside the plasma membrane we have the biggest structure that you can see, which is the nucleus. Okay? Now, what is the cytoplasm? The cytoplasm is everything between the plasma membrane and the nucleus. That's pretty easy, isn't it? So, I really like drawing these simple pictures. So if you want to label this one, this orange bit here, you can label as plasma membrane because it's the barrier between the inside and the outside of the cell. Here we can use this circle to represent our nucleus, and then here everything between the nucleus and the plasma membrane is called cytoplasm. So you can label that. Alright, now we have seen this a little bit before. This is the plasma membrane made up of our beautiful little phospholipids here, okay? Remember, it's called a bilayer for a reason. Now also have a look, you've got your hydrophobic tails and hydrophilic heads. Remember what that meant with regards to water loving and water hating, yeah? Okay, so here is our beautiful plasma membrane, and it's the barrier between the inside and outside of our cells. Now another thing that we can see in our plasma membrane is that we have lots of proteins in there. Now we're going to have a look at those later, so don't worry too much about it now. I think now for you need to remember that we have a plasma membrane made up of phospholipid bilayer. There's cholesterol in there and there's also proteins embedded. I think that's probably enough for now. Here we go, check it out. This is my beautiful drawing of the phospholipid bilayer. Do you love it? And now there are things called microvilli. Okay, now can you see it's 1 to 2 micrometers in length, microns? It's very, very, very tiny. And I just made a picture for you to understand. A microvilli is like a very, very tiny hair. Very, very fine hair, and that hair is made up of plasma membrane, okay? So I've tried to draw it here. I'm clearly an exceptional artist, but I hope you can understand what I mean, that the plasma membrane just makes a tube, a very, very thin tube. It's like a very, very thin hair, and they're very, very small and tiny. Let's have a look at this picture. See here, look, the hairs, they are the microvilli, and they're made out of plasma membrane, okay? We also have other hair-like things, and they're a bit bigger, and they're called cilia. But microvilli are tiny, that's why they're called micro, and cilia are different, they're a little bit bigger. Here we go, cilia. Look at them, a little bit bigger hairs, kind of plasma membrane kind of structured hairs. And the good thing about cilia is that they actually help us move things around. They move like this, and so they're moving mucus, okay? They are moving. So how cool are they, hey? It's like an escalator, all right? So these cilia allow things to move across the surface, yeah, of the cells, and they go one way only. How cool are that? It's like a whole bunch of arms, like when you go to a concert and someone has a ball and then you pass the ball around, like that. Right, so I've given you a little task here to fill in. Now, we have the cytoplasm. The cytoplasm is everything between the nucleus and the plasma membrane. The cytoplasm, inside the cytoplasm, we have two things. We have cytosol, which is the fluid, and organelles, which are the little baby organs of the cell. Okay? The organelles are going to be sitting in the cytosol. Okay? So we're going to look at all of those. Here we go, again, the cytoplasm and the cytosol. So you can make yourself a little concept map if you want about, you know, all of those different little divisions, yeah? Here we go. Let's look at the nucleus. The nucleus is the biggest little organelle, okay? So we have organs, but our cells have little tiny organelles because they're only small, okay? Now, the nucleus is very important because it holds all of our DNA, right? If you think of DNA as a recipe book, okay? Just pretend I had a book and it had all of the instructions on how to make a human, right? That recipe book is DNA, and that DNA lives in the nucleus, okay? So if we look at the structure of the nucleus, we can see that there's other bits in it, but I think for you guys, I think you need to just understand that the nucleus contains our DNA, and our DNA is like a recipe book to make a human body. The other bits we can check out later. We have something called the endoplasmic reticulum, and I know that's a bit of a mouthful, okay? And sorry, my camera keeps wanting to focus for some reason. It's having a hard trouble focusing on me. Here we go. So endoplasmic reticulum. Can you see? This is, look at that. See that? Pink and blue stuff? That is called the endoplasmic reticulum. Okay? Now, this particular structure, there's a rough version and a smooth version. The rough version means that it's got little ribosomes stuck to it. The smooth version means it doesn't have those ribosomes stuck to it. Okay? And this endoplasmic reticulum, we are going to look at it later, but essentially it makes proteins. The smooth one makes lipids, just involved in a whole bunch of different functions. Yeah? All right, I might stop the recording there, and then we'll keep going with the rest. Nice and sweet. Short and sweet, I meant to say, not nice and sweet.